What's going on, WolfPack? It's your pack leader here, NightwolfMenace, bringing you a Warden hero tips and tricks guide. The Warden is one of the first 3 characters that are already unlocked when you start For Honor for customization. At first glance, his kit seems relatively easy to understand, but he has some tricks up his sleeve that, if mastered, makes him one of the top tier heroes on the battlefield, able to adapt to any situation he is in. But before we talk about these tips, we must first start with understanding the basics behind his kit. Let's start with the Warden's first move, Vanguard Advance, performed by pressing light attack, and heavy attack. Relatively straightforward basic combo, and you can change the direction of each of these attacks. Another chain combo the Warden can pull off is known as Guardian's Assault, performed by pressing light attack and then heavy attack. Again, another straightforward combo that you can change directions with. The Warden's last chain attack is known as Warden's Wrath, performed by pressing the heavy attack button twice in sequence. Like other chain combos, each heavy attack can be changed directions to throw off your opponents. For Vanguard Advance and Guardian's Assault, I recommend starting with a light attack from the top stance position, since in the stance the Warden's top light attack comes out very fast, whereas his side light attacks are a bit slow and easily guarded against. However, if you do happen to connect with a side light attack, the second light attack on the same side that you connected with will be the guaranteed hit and comes out very fast. Next up is the Warden's Running Slash move. This technique is performed when you're not in guard mode and triggered by sprinting towards your opponent and pressing the heavy attack button. This attack is quite fast, great for opening with or chasing fleeing opponents. Do note, however, that this attack is always defended from your right guard position. The Warden also has access to a move called Crushing Counterstrike. If your opponent decides he wants to attack you from the top guard position with either a light or a heavy attack, you can respond by pressing your light attack also in the top guard position, just as the enemy's red indicator flashes, allowing you to parry his attack with massive damage, leaving your opponent wondering where his health went. Next we have the cream de la crop of the Warden's moveset, known as the Shoulder Bash technique. This move is performed by dodging in any direction and pressing and or holding your guard break button, knocking back your opponent, leaving them open to a counter attack. The longer you hold the guard break button, the further the target will be knocked back away from you. You can also perform the Shoulder Bash technique by pressing a light attack and immediately following with the guard break, performing what's known as the Shoulder Bash mix-up. Finally, let's talk about the Warden's Zone Attack. Every hero has access to a zone attack, and they are performed by pressing the light and heavy attack buttons at the same time. The Warden's Zone Attack is a very fast attack that always attacks towards the left guard position, independent of whether you're in top guard or right guard. It is very useful for confusing your opponents and getting some chip damage off. However, it takes up a lot of your stamina, and 2 zone attacks from full stamina gauge can leave you without stamina very quickly. Now that we got the basics out of the way, let's get into some more advanced techniques, starting with the Warden's Vortex. What is a Vortex, you're wondering? Well, Vortex is the term derived from other fighting games, where basically if you get caught in a particular combo, it can be looped over and over again until either your opponent stops the combo or you predict what your opponent is going to do next, ending his loop string. The Warden has a nasty Vortex combo, which sends off his Shoulder Bash mix-up technique, as after each successful light attack on your target, you can Shoulder Bash your target again and again until you either run out of stamina or your opponent figures you out and counters you. However, this can be quite hard to do, as when performing the Shoulder Bash mix-up, you can do a variety of different things. You can decide to attack your opponent from either direction. You can cancel your Shoulder Bash animation into a guard break simply by tapping the guard break button, which is very useful for catching opponents that are dodging. Or you can simply cancel the Shoulder Bash animation altogether by pressing the heavy attack cancel button, useful if you feel that you need to dodge an attack or to set up a parry. Before we get into my next point, I want to tell you guys how to parry and feint heavy attacks, as some of you may not know. Every hero in For Honor can parry an enemy's light or heavy attack by guarding in the direction of the attack and pressing your heavy attack button the moment the enemy's attack indicator flashes red. Parrying attacks right off the bat can be hard to do at times, but is made easier once you start feinting your own heavy attacks. Every heavy attack on every hero, no matter what part of a chain they are on, can be cancelled simply by pressing your heavy attack cancel button, which is circle on PS4, B on Xbox, and E on PC by default. What this does is flash an indicator that you are going to attack from whatever direction you feinted your heavy attack towards your opponent. And if your opponent decides to parry that attack, he will have to press his own heavy attacks in the direction you feinted. But instead of parrying, he's going to do a full heavy attack in that direction, which will set you up with a free parry. Unless of course he feints his parry attempt on you. The mind games in this game are real, guys. Now this brings me to my next point, which are the Warden's free attacks. Free attacks are basically any attack that is guaranteed to hit your opponent, assuming certain conditions are met. After you land a successful parry, you can get a free guard break on most heroes of the game, the major exception being the Boshi, as this hero is thrown out of guard break range and to a lesser extent Lordbringer and Kensei on some of their moves. But if you manage to land a successful guard break, the Warden can follow up with his or her side light attack combos into their Vortex. The Warden can also get a side heavy attack on their targets, useful if there's no wall you can push your opponent into and getting some heavy damage, and for executing your target. Speaking of walls, if the Warden manages to throw their opponent into one, you can get a free top heavy attack which does the most damage out of all your heavy attacks. You can also get a free top heavy attack if you throw your opponent to the ground when they are out of stamina. Finally, you can get a free top heavy attack as well if you manage to land a max charge shoulder charge into a wall. You can also get a free top heavy attack by getting a max shoulder charge even without a wall. Although the timing with this one is a bit tricky as you have to be moving forward and press the heavy attack button. And even then sometimes your blade will fall just short on impact. Now let's talk about the final point in this guide, which is fighting your Warden. As we learned, the Warden has a very dangerous Vortex combo. The most common and useful way to get out of the Warden's Vortex is to unlock your character and perform a dodge roll, retreating away from them. If you're playing a character with a sidestep attack like Orochi and Peacekeeper and even Kensei, you can use that to dodge the shoulder charge into his light attacks, and even the shoulder charge guard break cancel, as the Warden can't guard break you if you're performing the sidestep attack even though you dodge. However, don't spam this too often, as a good Warden will bait your sidestep attack by cancelling their shoulder charge animation altogether, allowing them to get an easy parry off you. Also, most Wardens will try to attack with a side light combo right after the first shoulder charge in their Vortex hits. This can be guarded against, and depending on your hero, can be beaten with a light attack on their own. I'm looking at you, Orochi top light attack. If you are, however, caught by the first shoulder charge in the Warden's mix-up, and he does a second, it's almost always cancelled into a guard break, which can be prevented by a light attacking or counter guard breaking. Finally, Wardens tend to go into a shoulder bash guard break cancel the moment you get into execute range, as at that point if they catch you with a guard break, a side R2 will end you. Always be wary of doing a top heavy attack against a Warden, as you're just asking to get parried with their top light counters, crushing advance. The two most important sides which you should be guarding against is the top guard, as that is their fast light attack, as well as their zone attack, which is defended from your left guard position. Successfully guarding against a Warden's zone attack leaves them open to a free guard break. That's all for this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe. Also, let me know how I did. Is there anything I missed? Anything you liked in particular or didn't like? Constructive criticism is welcomed. Also, let me know what hero you want to see in the comment section below. I was thinking it either be Peacemaker, Raider, or Shigoki, as those are the heroes I currently have playtime on, besides the Warden obviously. Anyways, I'm out of here guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Awoo!